Just yesterday, Jimmy Garoppolo was asked about the Trey Lance situation where he was traded to the Cowboys for a fourth-round pick, and he showed a lot of support for Trey Lance, calling him a brother and wishing him success with his next stop, and a lot of positive things in regards to showing support for Trey Lance. However, Jimmy Garoppolo did go on Sports Illustrated to talk with one of their hosts, and his story about Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers and how they've handled the 49ers quarterback situation, the tone was much different than when he was talking about Trey Lance. Listen to what Jimmy Garoppolo had to say when he's asked about how the 49ers managed their quarterback situations. Jimmy got a little spicy. I haven't really seen this too often from Jimmy Garoppolo. Take a look right here.
What did you make of the Trey Lance trade to Dallas?
Weird situation. Been a lot of weird situations over there in San Francisco, just to leave it at that. But, I'm happy Trey got another shot, man.
How do you think San Francisco's handled those quarterback situations?
How do you think they've handled them?
I think it's been messy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
I thought one of the most interesting answers was Jimmy Garoppolo taking the question and kicking it back at the interviewer because he didn't want to answer it because he knew what it was. And obviously, the interviewer said, "Hey, it was messy." And Jimmy Garoppolo was like, "Hey, that's one way to put it." So clearly, Jimmy Garoppolo did not love how the 49ers handled the quarterback situation back then. And I think you could speak for pretty much the majority of the fan base with how the San Francisco 49ers managed the quarterback position back in 2021 all the way through now. Thankfully, the 49ers have lucked out and they've got Brock Purdy in the 7th round, and he has the potential to be a franchise quarterback. But the guy that they moved up to go get and traded for is not here anymore. And what I take away from this is, again, the 49ers believed that they could draft at the time, a 20-year-old and bring him into Jimmy Garoppolo's locker room, and somehow his confidence and all of that wouldn't take a hit. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And it really was just, unfortunately, hindsight being crystal clear, right? It just wasn't a good move. Bringing Trey Lance into Jimmy Garoppolo's locker room, where the entire locker room of star-studded veterans completely had Jimmy Garoppolo's back, and that, of course, at no fault to the locker room, at no fault to any of those players, they rode with Jimmy, and rightfully so. And that could be a rocky experience for a young player who doesn't have that many reps and is already dealing with the pressures of the NFL. So quite the interesting situation here. One day we'll get a tell-all from this period of time. Again, I've talked about this plenty of times before. I cannot wait for the 30 for 30 on this entire situation. We get the behind the scenes of what really went down, because there is some juicy stuff here that we just haven't heard about. But what do you think about Jimmy Garoppolo's thoughts on this? Spicy Jimmy. We obviously, he's not with the 49ers, so he has no reason to hold his tongue. What do you think of what Jimmy Garoppolo had to say? What do you think of how the 49ers have managed this quarterback situation? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.